You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Listen, I was in my devotion this morning and God began to reveal some things to me. And I want to talk to you today because I don't believe that we go through things just for ourselves, and I don't believe anything is wasted. Many times when you have been overlooked, when you have been rejected, and that has been your life for a very long time, you will believe that something is wrong with you. You might not say it, you might not verbalize it, but at some point when you continuously go through it, it starts to take a toll on your soul. I'm telling you right now, it starts to take a toll on your mental health. But I want to give you a word here today that God sees and God knows. And the enemy, what this is it's a system that is set up against you to try to get you to back away from what God has called you to do. There's something great on the inside of you, because you can always determine how great and how anointed you are by the system that Satan sets up against you to stop you. Even when you start to get close to the things that it has called you for, that has purpose for you, the closer you get to your destiny, the more the enemy is going to try to get loud. There is something that the enemy does to rob you of your identity, and that is rejection, being overlooked, and being neglected. All my life, I was severely neglected. All my life, I was severely rejected. And I know I'm not the only one. There's other people who have been through that, especially if you are a prophet. Many times people say, I'm prophetic, I'm a prophet. You know, when you are a prophet from the womb, and you will go through these things. And sometimes I ask, like, God, why you allow to this degree for these things to happen? Because God is wanting you to know the God that you speak about, the God that you serve, and what he thinks about you matters the most. Because God has the power to turn hearts and turn minds so that people that were once against you will be for you. I'm reading this in Esther. People was putting you down will bless you, but God wants you to get past the people pleasing, past the stage where you feel like you have to prove anything to anybody. And he wants us to take off that defense mechanism of, I ain't got nothing to prove to anybody. I don't care what nobody think about me. That's a defense mechanism, because we were created for connections. And then so that becomes a inner vow. That's what I talked about, and I'm gonna start posting clips from the live. That becomes an inner vow because it's a defense mechanism in response to some type of trauma and hurt that you experience. But I decree and declare this is the year of freedom. I know what I feel down in my soul, that this is a year where God is breaking his people free. And so I want to read a word that God gave me this morning. Then I want to pray. And so David knew who he was. David was confident in his God as far as who God created him to be. And God is saying, this is the year, I prophetically speak this over our lives, where you are confident in who God has created you to be. And you are confident that no matter if you're overlooked for a season, because it doesn't matter, because God is going to bring in those connections that are meant for you. It doesn't matter if you're rejected. It doesn't matter if you're ostracized. You don't have to build this fort around you, this defense mechanism saying, I don't need nobody. I don't care how people see. God said, I'm going to have you so secure within yourself that you won't even say that if they like you, they like you. If they don't, they don't. That's not your focal point. My God, God is saying, I'm changing the way you look at life. I'm changing the way you look at people so that we could truly love people from a pure place and not from a transactional place, so that we could truly stop bullying each other and stop picking on each other and stop taunting each other and have compassion and empathy. Okay. So David here in Psalms 139 verse 13, he said, for you form my inward parts. Everything inside of you, God formed. That's your soul. You form my inward parts. You cover me in my mother's womb. That's protection. I will praise you, for I am fearfully, come on, and wonderfully made. That means God took his time and he made sure that he made you perfectly. You are perfect in God's eyes. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works. Come on, we got to start saying this, like, Lord, marvelous are your works. Woo! and that my soul knows very well. Do you know it? Do you know how marvelous you are? Do you know how wonderful you are? Do you know that you was fearfully and wonderfully made? Do you know how much you are all that in a bag of chips? And I'm not talking about that in the way where you are arrogant. That arrogance and conceitedness and pridefulness is a defense mechanism. I'm talking about what you just know your God, okay? So he says, my soul know very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully wrought in the lower parts of the earth. Your eyes saw my substance being yet unformed. And in your book, God has a book written on everyone in heaven. All were written, the days fashioned for me. So your days, every single day, from the time you were born and from the time that you leave this earth or the time that Jesus returned, it's all written in heaven. So we can take a deep breath and say, God got this. And God got you. You may have been rejected. You may have been overlooked. You may have been searching for your identity. But search for God. Seek his face. Seek God in who you are. I know there's been things I've been confused about my identity at times too. And God is restoring that back to me little by little. He is showing me who I'm truly, who I truly am. I am loved by God, and I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. You are loved by God. He took his time with you. And you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And my soul knows it. Your soul knows it, okay? I love you. God bless.